We should all allow January 10th, 2026 to be known as one of the better, if not best, days in Chicago sports history. All right, everyone? At least for those that are fans of the North Side team. Today's been a really great day all around. All right, let's start off with the beginning of the day. So, when I knew that this was going to be a special day was before the Bulls game, okay? You had walking up, you had Io and you had Matas wearing the cheese graters, repping the city, and this is when I knew something special was about to happen tonight, okay? Then you had Benny the Bull also joining in on the cheese grater. You know, it's always nice to see, all the sports teams of a city, congratulating each other and, rooting for each other. That's great stuff. I love to see it. And this is a special, fun way to do it, especially because this is our first playoff game in a while, and it's against the Packers. It had to be the Packers of all teams. So, yeah, we had to have a little fun with it. So, shout out to, the Bulls that participated in this, especially some standout games from multiple players and a win. Huge for the city and the start to a wonderful day. After the Bulls, we got to talk about the Blackhawks and what they did today. Of course, the Bulls had the United Center today, so it was, of course, an away game for the Blackhawks. They played in Nashville against some Predators. That's a stupid bit. Anyways, while the players in the organization of the Blackhawks was a little less forwardly, let's go Bears than the Bulls were, it's still there. We had the game against the Blues the other night where you could very clearly hear chants of Green Bay sucks, which... Beautiful. Keep them rolling. We have a whole offseason to hold over them right now, so keep it going. Which I just got to say, that was a ballsy move from everyone, because if we lost after doing that, which, I mean, it really is every single sporting event possible, really, that it happens. But, it would have been tough if even the St. Louis Blues Twitter account was saying, I don't think Chicago likes the Packers. It would have been a little embarrassing if we ended up losing. But talking about the Blackhawks themselves, their performance, Tyler Bertuzzi is on a tear right now. But also, we need to give massive props to the Blackhawks for their 3-0 victory against the Preds. Who was the goalie? Drew Commesso, who got his first career win today. And remember how I said 3-0? Yeah, his first career win was also a shutout. That is crazy. Great job to the guy. That's insane. Huge props to him and the Blackhawks for the massive win. Bedard's back. This is great. We're still waiting on Nazar, but hopefully we can turn the season around and maybe get in the Stanley Cup playoffs, have some fun, fuck around. But, eventually, the Bears game had to start. And it felt like a personal mission of God to, make every Bears fan as, solemn as possible. Really take the air out of our sails, the breath out of our lungs as we watch our team get decimated straight up for, the first half. And it didn't get a whole lot better for a half a quarter after that, maybe full quarter, until I felt my phone buzz. That's when I knew things were turning around. Hanging out with a bunch of my friends watching the game, I'm in a rough spot. I got a buddy, he's a Lions fan, he was watching the game with me, and he was also rooting against the Packers because I'm sure Vikings fans, Lions fans, and of course Bears fans would all agree it's fuck the Packers. And, you know, who would rather watch the Packers win? If I'm being real here. So, we're both a little deflated. Me more so. I feel my phone buzz, and, you know, a lot of times I'll just ignore it. This time I looked, and I saw that Jed Hoyer did something. With his 5-year extension, he did something. It seems like the Ricketts made a whole lot more money off the Cubs this past year because, man, that bar to break even got a whole lot higher with the signing of third baseman Alex Bregman. So you're telling me my baseball team, which had a third baseman who wasn't great at the plate and who, frankly, a lot of fans aren't a huge fan of, might not be a starter this year because we have Alex Bregman, who is a right-handed third baseman, and we needed a righty in the lineup. Whew. Let's go. Let's go for a World Series ring, you know? Let's go get a ring. I know I'm a Cubs fan, so that's my joy. And if you're a White Sox fan, you probably don't share that joy with me. But I hope you can at least recognize that this is still just a great thing as a city we can share, especially because what Jed Hoyer was able to accomplish for the Chicago Bears after I got that message, it filled me with hope. Like, if you watch the Superman movie this summer, you know, walking out of that movie theater, especially if you're able to watch it super late and the sun rises as you're walking out of there, the amount of hope that experience would give you, that's what happened to me. I was slumped on the couch looking at my phone during an advertisement. I stand up, I rally cap, and man, did the Bears deliver. Caleb said, damn. If Luther Burden isn't going to do his job and run the correct fucking route, I'm just going to throw it to Colston Loveland. And you know what? Right call. Colston Loveland, dog. Absolute dog. DJ Moore was getting great yardage. DeAndre Swift with the touchdown. Colston Loveland with the 2-point conversion. DJ Moore touchdown. Oh. And you know what? Cairo Santos? I've had my hot takes about Cairo Santos this past season. I have, and I had them last season too. You know, maybe his leg's a little weak, okay? We could say that. You know, he doesn't always get those long kicks, and it does hurt us sometimes. But when you get him within a range he's comfortable with, he's almost always going to get the points. Unlike that alleged sexual assaulter, Brandon Mayanus, due to that man with said allegations missing so many field goals and extra points, the Bears were able to rally from an 18-point deficit in the fourth quarter. That is insane. They did that in the playoffs, and the Bears were wearing navy on navy. Something the Bears don't do is win while wearing navy on navy. It is a cursed uniform combination. I don't like seeing it. I mean, I kind of like the way it looks, but I don't like the way the team plays while doing it. And, you know, this is less about being such a great day for the Bears and for Chicago sports fans. But, like, here's a little bit of stuff, okay? This is a little bit sad. But this is, like, I think the first time ever, at least in a very long time, that the Cubs and the Bears have advanced in the playoffs in the same year, which is sad with how old both these teams are. And, like, just to be clear on that, it's not making the playoffs. It has happened before that way. What I'm saying is advanced. So, like, the Cubs get into the playoffs and win a series, while also the Bears get into the playoffs and win a game. That's what I'm saying. That I don't believe has ever happened before. You fact check me on that if I'm wrong. But also, you remember a few months ago when the Cubs lost in Milwaukee, losing out in the playoffs in the divisional round. Okay? You remember that? How afterwards the Brewers held up the L flag in their group photo? Yeah. That's still funny. Wisconsinites. You know? You still having a good time with that? How you got blown out by the Dodgers and then you thought the Packers would beat the Bears? You really thought that? All right, there's genuine grounds to believe that the Packers could beat the Bears, but we're going to ignore that. This is a new year, and Caleb's lost 2 games against the Packers in his career, and those 2 games were by a single score. So there's that. All 5 of those games have all been decided by 1 score, with the Bears. Actually, this is the first time it wasn't the Bears in possession. Makes you think. Oh yeah, also Alex Bregman has already posted a Bears congratulations post to his Instagram story if you haven't seen that. So, hey, let's go. Big day. January 10th, 2026. Keep that in mind. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.